Hello, lovely people of the YouTube world. I have the Logitech G604 LIGHTSPEED, and I equally hate and love this thing. I will start off with what I hate about it. The software is a complete piece of dog shit. Someone with a serious brain injury, or that somehow, through the grace of God, survived an abortion and just didn't quite fully develop properly, must have been the person who designed the software. It's constantly asking me to update. I said, piss off. You have to go here and disable the automatic update because if you're on a version beyond 2020.10.6293, your $350 steering wheel and $130 mouse isn't going to work. You're going to have half a grand of hardware that's completely rendered useless because you're going to go and click on it and you're just not going to be able to do anything. It's literally just not going to do anything. It's just going to sit there at a black screen. Okay? The Bluetooth sucks on it. Absolute hot garbage. Now, thankfully, it's also got a Wi-Fi mode because you can just click on I don't know why I'm showing you the actual mouse. I can just go here. There's a button right here. When you click on that, that switches between Bluetooth and wireless. Wireless is, oh my God, it's amazing. The wireless makes the mouse as good as this one. This is what I've been using for, over half a decade, a Razer Naga Hex with the buttons on the side because I play World of Warcraft, but I don't quite need 50,000 buttons on the side either. It's just it lags to the point that when you're holding down the right button and you're moving your character around in World of Warcraft as an example, or Call of Duty, you're lagging because it's like it's chopping and it's really effed up. When you're moving the mouse around, it's just very jagged. But now you can't enjoy a up to half a year battery life. This thing only takes one battery. And here, it's a little magnetic compartment here. You got your little dongle inside there as well. But it comes with a long cord so that you can bring that plug with the dongle close to your mouse, right? So the Wi-Fi mode works great, but the battery life is 240 hours. Whereas if you compare it to something like this for $50 more American, you're going to get only 150 hours out of a battery, but it's also going to be capable of being wired as well as Bluetooth, as well as wireless. And the battery is built inside, it's rechargeable. And it's got 3 swappable plates. So that's the mouse that I just showed you. Literally, that's what I have right here. I just don't need the 12 buttons on the side or the standard 2 on the side. I don't need all of this, but it's hot swappable. It's like a magnet. So in the long term, this may end up being something that's better for me because the software for me is more reliable compared to the G Hub. The other thing I don't like too is when you're AFK for a couple of minutes and you come back for about 3 to 5 seconds, your mouse is going hog wild like if it was at 73,000 DPI. And then you got to move it around and then it finally slows down. But I mean, apart from that, when you click on a button, you just go here. Do you want it to command? Do you want it to do a macro? Do you want it to do a system and load a program? What action do you want it to do? Or a key? So I have it for F1 keys for World of Warcraft. So I just click it. F1, I just literally drag it over. Boom, F1, you're done. Sensitivity, you got some different presets. You can grab on this. You could slide it wherever you want. It's absolutely amazing. You could change the polling rate, how often the mouse reports to the computer per second, 500 times, 250, 125, or 1,000 times. It's great that way when it works. But then if you want to go into onboard mode, right, so that you don't have to rely on the software running in the background, something Razer doesn't do, now look, my mouse is all over the place and I'm barely moving it. You can't change anything while you're in onboard mode. I kind of get that. But why is it all over the place? So now I got to click on the profile and go back to desktop default, even though that's where it was to begin with. See, it's hog wild. It's loading. There, nice and slow. Now it worked. Now I should be able to close the program because it's in onboard memory mode. See, nice and smooth. We're going to exit out of that. It's gone hog wild again. So it's not working. Now I'm going to open it back up. Still hog wild, even though it's fully loaded. So now I got to click on the mouse, Get rid of this junk on board thing. Now we're nice and smooth again. And it's never going to let me forget that there's an update, which you don't want. So on this version of the software, if you're willing to keep the software running in the background, which is lightweight like the Razer doesn't have an option to have your profile on the mouse, which is why I wanted to go to Logitech, but it doesn't work. I just showed that. That's frustrating. But putting aside all of those frustrations, which to me, there's a lot of them, it's a great mouse. I'm using it right now. I can't tell the difference between it and my beautiful Razer that I'm obsessed with. It just works. It's reliable. But every 3 weeks, as per my use, your mileage will vary. Every 3 weeks to 4 weeks, I will have to replace one AA battery. For an extra $70 Canadian, about $45 American in the long term, I hold on to mice for about half a decade at a time. I don't go through these like hotcakes. Then again, I don't eat hotcakes, but it's an expression and it sounded good. This is probably going to be better for me. Again, this mouse cannot be wired. You have to have a AA battery in it. But apart from that, you know, the look, the feel, the sliding, you know, I'm not gonna lie. This is a lot smoother because of the feet on it is like non-existent. It like super glides, but it feels good. But again, that's a preference thing. The weight of this is heavier. It almost feels like 1.5 times the weight. It's got nice big feet underneath it. Beautiful construction. It really feels like a quality piece of hardware because it is. But I do feel like I have to force it a bit more. And I am using, if you're curious as to the mouse pad I'm using one of these old, you know, Razer sort of carpet fabric mouse thing. Maybe for this mouse, it would be better to have one that glides, although I've heard from some reviewers that you don't want to do that, that it doesn't respond well to non-fabric carpet-like, you know, mouse pads. So I'm still on the fence as to whether or not I'm going to keep it. Again, the retail price of, you know, the mouse that we're talking about, not this one, is 130 Canadian. I got it on sale for 100, which is about 70 American. So I was like, okay, whatever. I get it. With the sale, this is double the price. But without it, it's like about 1.5, 1.7 times the price. Not too good at math, but long term for me, it just might be worth it because I need something with at least this many buttons. And for me personally, having a nice radial outline like that for the buttons is amazing. There's another version of this one where the buttons are identical to this here, where they're all on the side. I mean, where they're all like stacked like that. I mean, that doesn't bother me. That's a personal preference thing. I don't want the update. I don't really know what else to say. If you're willing to keep this mouse in wireless mode at 240 hours a battery, non-rechargeable, I mean, I'm sure you could buy your own rechargeable batteries and use it, okay? Then yeah, you know, and you're willing to find the old software. I lost the link to it. I have a spare one on my desktop. But if you can look up that piece of software and you're willing to not update it beyond 2020.10.6293 and disable the enable automatic updates, even though once it still installed it on its own, and which it rendered all my shit useless, like I said, yeah, go for it for the price. I am a Razer fanboy, but I get it. There's a lot of stuff about them too that I can't stand. Like some of their newer synapses are crap as well. I don't like it. So I think I'm also using an old one, but it's never forced me or reminded me that there was an update. And then my settings are synced to the cloud. I think you can do that with this as well. I have to run it in the background, but it doesn't bother me. Like it doesn't bother me to have this running in the background. I don't know why it's doing that. But yeah, anyways, the point is it's going to be difficult for me to figure out if I want to keep this or switch over to the other one. I can't think of another mouse, like I said, that I want to use because I have a very specific use. I'm very, very picky. I really like that radial, I think that's what that call layout for the buttons. I want at least 4 to 6 buttons or 7, whatever, around here, not 12 though, and definitely not 2. So for me, it's a little bit different. It's got to be wireless wireless, not Bluetooth, and it's got to have at least this many buttons. So I'm stuck between the Logitech G604 or the Naga Pro. So if this video helped you out at all, give it a thumbs up. It greatly helps support the channel with the algorithm and making me a little bit more relevant in the search results when people are looking things up on the internet. If you didn't like the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs down. I'll break it off in your ass, and then you'll just not really be able to use the mouse, period. That nice, beautiful thumb rest this thing has, you won't be using it. You won't have a thumb. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, naturally, that would be great. But if not, thanks for stopping by anyways. Take care. And, the reason the software wasn't loading, by the way, like why this wasn't working, it's because I don't have my Razer mouse plugged into my computer anymore. Because for a moment I was like, what's happening here? I forgot it's plugged into my PlayStation 5 for Call of Duty. But yeah. Anyhow, take care. Let me know down below what's your favorite mouse. Have you tried any of the Logitechs? Have you tried the G Hub? Do you have a different product than I do where you have the latest version of G Hub and it works? Because for me, I've got 2 products. None of them work on the latest software. So yeah. Take care. Maybe I'll see some of you next time. Bye for now.